Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we are looking at ADA. Before we jump into the price action, I just want to say thank you for watching. If you're enjoying the content, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description you'll find links to Discord, come check it out, it is free to join. Okay, so we've actually had a move down here into the support box overnight that we were talking about. So we've actually come down towards between this 382 and this 50%, and we came down to this previous fourth wave that we've got marked out here. So, for the most part, we need to be watching to see whether we can actually hold this low point. If we do hold this low, what we could look for is effectively the possibility of this being an A, a B, and then we actually look to push to the upside for a C, or alternatively, on the more bullish count, we could look at this potentially as a 1, 2, and then we're looking for that third wave up. Alternatively, we didn't actually cross this validation point for this diagonal, and we've been talking about this for a while. We came right up into that rejection zone of that 42 cent to 05, and we could still be looking at that possibility of actually coming down one more time here. I'm looking for that possibility to take this low point here. So, we need to just see how this progresses. If we do see a bigger five-wave move playing out here to the downside, something like this, we could then be looking for that fifth wave to the downside. And like we said in the in some previous videos, what we'd be looking for potentially as a target, if I can get onto this high point, let's sort this out. Let's get this up here. Come on. There you go. There you go. Is this fifth wave would have to cross this 2302 if it is going to be an expanding diagonal here, and it would have to take this move down in a three-wave move. So I am still keeping an eye out for this. If we do get a bigger drop down here, this could be something that plays out, and I'd want to see a move past this 2302 if that's the case. So we do have that possibility of actually looking to break down one more time here. Be interesting to see whether we actually start to do that now, or whether we are going to look to actually invalidate this option by moving above this 44-cent range. So, like I said, that possibility is still there to move down here. We need to just see how this area holds. So within this structure here, yesterday we were talking about this when we were in this area here, and we're talking about that possibility of having a additional fifth wave to the downside. So for the most part, we can argue that this is completed, and I'm going to throw that wave count on now for a second. And we're looking at this like this, where becomes a 1, 2, looking at this as a 3, a 4, and then looking at this possibility for this to be a fifth wave. So the only issue I have with this count um, is that it would be sort of implying that we had an extension in the fifth here. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our fifth wave moved on. And typically we get that extension in the third wave. So it isn't. It can happen in the fifth wave, and it does actually reach exactly 1618 with this move here. So we're going to have to keep an eye on it. It would have to prove itself. And to prove itself, it needs to take these highs. So if we do get a move back up here past this 36.44, then we could actually count this as a completed move. So the alternative thing that I am looking at here is that potentially this could have, it could have then, we can also argue that maybe within this, we actually were still within this third wave. So going to have to be a little bit cautious around this zone here of this yellow box, this 36.69 to this 35.56. For as long as we remain below this zone, we could see something like this play out as an A, a B, and a C into this area. And then that could actually still be a part of this previous wave structure here. And we say that the third wave is here, this is a fourth, and then this is the fifth still to come. So if we do get a move like this, it would be more likely that we actually come down towards this 618 zone, between this 50% and the 618 zone, which would be this 3149 to this 2952. So if we do get rejection within this zone again, basically what I'd be looking for would be the potential to come back down here. So the zone, if we're looking at this as a fifth wave like this, would be this 3114 to this 2969. So that would be an interesting zone if we do actually look to move up higher here into this yellow box area of this 3669 and get rejected. We could look for that continuation down. Obviously, if we do it would have to be up in a three-wave move, though. If we got anything else if this wasn't a three-wave structure here, and rather we had this play out as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up into here, we could still get that rejection down at this point, but then we find support and then look to push up. So that's what we're going to have to be a little bit cautious of within this move here. So for the most part, I am looking at it potentially as completed. And if we're going to argue that it's completed, like I said, we want to keep first things we want to do is actually come take this fourth wave here at this 3640, and then we want to cross this wave one as well, this 3854, and then ideally take this high back above this B wave here, which would be this 4213. So once we start to do that, we then we take out that possibility of this being able to extend. But really, until we actually come back above this high point, we need to just be a little bit cautious within the wave count because it could always extend to the downside. Like I said, if we're looking for that possibility that this is actually a completion of a fourth wave as a flat, no, not as a flat, as a as an expanding diagonal, we'd have to change how we're looking at this move. And we did talk about it previously where we could potentially count this as a corrective structure in here. But yeah, for the most part, I am still looking for that possibility, that we could find the support in this zone and then look to push up. If we start to form something like this, if we complete this as a five-wave move, we come back up here and then we face rejection in this zone. You have this 3973. Lower range would be this 3564. But if we came up higher towards, say, the 618 or this 50% here, we could then look for that continuation down. And then obviously the deeper we push here, the more likely it becomes that we're actually starting to form that bigger impulsive structure to the downside. And losing this 27 cent range would make it less likely that we're setting up for a 1-2 at least, because typically speaking, wave twos won't really go down to this. Well, that'll be the sort of cutoff point that we're looking for as a wave two. So once we start to cross this 786, it becomes less likely that we're following that count. So, and like I said, we need to be a bit careful. There could be some further extensions in here, but for as long as this low holds here, we could also argue that this could be starting to look for a reversal from this upside. It would have to overcome these key areas that we talked about. Obviously, this 3793, if we did move back above this, that becomes more likely that we're within the next phase of this structure, which could look to push us up towards this. So this 1-to-1 would actually be, it's actually the green line, this 5320, and then alternatively, if we're looking for a bigger structure, it would be that 8376. But we don't have the confirmation yet. We need to see this area hold. So if we're going to talk about that's one thing I also want to mention. We can say, okay, yeah, this is a complete move. It came into this zone, but we could still see a three-wave move up and then another move to the downside. So, this could then become an A. We could get a B sideways here and then get a C wave down still. So we need to just allow for that within the structure. It could potentially be completed, like I said. Alternatively, we could still have a fifth wave down here, which could bring us a bit lower here towards this 618 area or this 50% area. The higher range would be this 3149. But a move down towards this zone would give us um, better confidence. I think that that we have had a sufficiently deep corrective move, because this move hasn't really come down to that 50% yet. And I mean, as a flat, that's fine. We came into this 382 to 50%. So this is viable, but it needs to hold this low if we're going to look at this potentially as completed. So if we want to argue bullish case from here, what I'd be looking out for is within this, we'd have to be looking at it in this way. And I'm going to come down here into the 1 hour again. Let's just sort this out. Go. So the way we would have to look at it is that potentially, that we're looking at a five-wave move here, where this becomes a 1-2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a third, and then we're looking for this fourth. So if we're looking for this fourth, it would be this 33.45 to this 33.27. And then basically what we'd want to see is just a three-wave move down into this area, and then we'd want to see this fifth wave play out to the upside here. So really within this structure, that wave one invalidation would be this 3270 range, and we wouldn't want to come back down below that zone. If we do cross below that, it becomes less likely that we are actually looking for this move. So, we can also argue that potentially we could get some extension within here, but for the most part, I'm just looking at this as needing a fourth and a fifth wave here. It shouldn't get too big either. Otherwise, it starts to not fit the structure, and we can then potentially argue that we've had this as an A, B, C up, then we get a B and a C. So gonna have to see how this plays out exactly. If we are actually completed, because within this structure we can measure that 1618 into here. So we could also argue that potentially we have something like this where the fifth wave is actually completed already here, and then we're looking for this wave two. So if we do hold, like I said, if we do hold this zone here, this 3345 to this lower range here of 3327, we can look for this potential to push up one more time to the zone of this 33 to this 3412. And they would just be looking at this as a simple move without any input, without any extensions. If this just comes up one more time into this zone, then what we'd be looking for would be this retracement for this wave two. We'd want to see this ideally in a three-wave structure, into this 3305 to this 3251. So the key zone here is going to be this lower range. If we lose this 3251, it would become more likely that we're actually going to get some further extension within these waves. And then we'd have to potentially look at maybe that within here we're getting another one and a two. I'd have to look at it like that. Otherwise, it wouldn't really make too much sense where this becomes a 1, 2, and then we actually look to break much lower. So the key areas for here for looking for this bullish breakout from this area would be this 3212 as the lowest we could go. Wouldn't want to see a move down past this, but losing this 3251, that makes it already less likely. If we do, however, get this fourth wave, push up for a fifth, would we get this three wave down, what we'd then be looking for confirmation would be a move up to this zone here of this 3641. And we'd want to do this in a nice clean five wave structure, into this area, looking for that 3641, and then looking for basically another three wave move to the downside, and then finally that fifth wave. Until we get this fourth wave and this fifth wave, we need to just be aware that, we can still see things play out where they do something like this and it's just a corrective structure, and then we actually look to break down. So you just have this as an A, B, and a C, and then we come into that zone that we talked about needing to be careful. So you see this yellow box. This is where it's going to be a bit tricky within this move. So if we do move up here into this zone, and that's what I'm saying, need to see that evidence of that fourth and that fifth wave, because if we don't form this fourth wave and this fifth wave up, and we just get a move up here like this as an A, B, and a C up into this zone, then effectively we could actually look to just continue to break down. We also need to be a little bit cautious because we have been sitting within this channel and has been obeying it. The channel is also currently sitting towards this 3540 zone, and then obviously, so this channel that I've drawn on here is sort of a predictive channel. All it's got is these three touch points at the bottom here, and I've taken it to the top here, and we've got only one touch point up there. So I mean, we can argue that this channel really isn't valid because we don't have enough points. But if we do, however, move back up here, I'd also be just keeping an eye on this 50% line, which is sitting here at this 3549, which would actually tie in quite nicely with retesting this zone here. And then we also have that possibility of just forming a move like this as an A, a B, and a C, coming back into the top of this channel, and then actually looking for potentially this 618 area if we're going to move up that high. Or it depends how long this really takes. It could actually look to push up higher into this, maybe even reach the 786 if we're going to look at it in that manner. So if we do start to break up here and we do break out of this channel, and we break back above this center channel line of the descending channel, the bigger channel that we've got here, effectively, I would be looking out to see if we actually get a move up here and retest this zone. So how would this fit into the bigger picture? So if we just got a zigzag up here and then we failed to push up high enough to make this impulsive, this 42.65, what I would then be looking for is, like I said, this could then be an A wave, we get a B wave up into here, and then we get a final C wave down. And they would be looking to actually retest lower down within that five wave move. and then potentially, like I said, looking to come back down towards the zone of the 618, this 29.52. If we do get a move like this play out, that could be an interesting way of getting there. Yeah, so I mean, we're gonna have to give it a bit of space. There is this potential for this upside to play out, but we really need to, if we want to argue that this is the low of that B wave. We really can't lose this 32.12. If we lose this zone, then it effectively invalidates that whole potential, and then we'd have to look at another option. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. Once in the general chat area, just add mention a member of staff. We'll be happy to help you out with anything you may need. Also in the description you will find affiliate links both for PrimeXBT and BYBIT, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. Check them out, they really are great exchanges. Using the affiliate link does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it if you do. Everyone, have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.